I always believed my husband was loyal. We had been married for 9 years, and while our marriage wasn't perfect, I trusted him with all my heart. But everything changed because of one small necklace. It happened on a Saturday afternoon. He told me he was going to play basketball with his friends. I didn't question it. Why would I? I was cleaning the living room when I noticed something shiny tucked between the couch cushions. When I pulled it out, my breath caught. It was a necklace, delicate, silver, with a tiny heart-shaped charm. Beautiful, but definitely not mine. For a moment, I convinced myself it was nothing. Maybe it belonged to my sister. Maybe it fell during a visit. But then I saw the engraving on the back. 2 letters, her initials. And in that instant, everything inside me cracked. He came home later that evening, sweaty and smiling, carrying takeout like nothing was wrong. I smiled back. I even kissed him. He didn't know that while he was eating dinner, I was holding that necklace in my pocket, my fingers digging into it like a weapon. I didn't confront him that night. No, I wanted to know more before I exploded. So I stayed calm, quiet, and watchful. But deep down, I already knew that necklace wasn't just jewelry. It was proof. Proof that my husband had a secret. Proof that the life I thought was safe was about to shatter. And I had no idea then. But that necklace was only the first clue in a trail that would lead me to the most shocking truth of my life. That night I barely slept. I kept turning the necklace over in my hand, the initials burning into my mind. Who was she? How long had this been going on? The next morning, while he was in the shower, I carefully checked his phone. He had always been protective of it, but this time he forgot to set a password. My heart raced as I scrolled through his messages: family, work, random group chats, nothing suspicious. Until I saw a hidden folder in his gallery. It was full of pictures. Not of us, not of our family, but of her. A woman I didn't recognize. She was younger, always smiling, sometimes in restaurants, sometimes in cars. And then my stomach dropped. In one of the photos, she was wearing the same necklace I had found. I felt the blood drain from my face. It wasn't just a fling. He had been keeping another life, another woman. But the real twist came later that week. I followed him after he said he was working late. My hands shook as I tailed his car, staying far enough not to be noticed. He finally parked outside a quiet street, near a small apartment building. I expected him to walk inside and meet her, but what I saw instead nearly made me scream. He opened his trunk and pulled out a suitcase. Then she appeared, the woman from the photos. She ran into his arms, kissed him, and together they carried the bags inside like they were moving in. That was when the truth hit me like a storm. He wasn't just cheating. He was planning a whole new life without me. And I realized, if I didn't act fast, I was going to be replaced completely. I stood frozen in my car, watching them disappear inside that building, my fingers digging into the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. My chest hurt, not just from the betrayal, but from the terrifying realization that he had already made his choice and it wasn't me. For a moment, I wanted to burst through those doors, scream, break everything, demand answers. But then a sharper voice inside me whispered, "No, don't give him this satisfaction. Don't let him see you broken." So I drove home in silence, my heart pounding with rage and clarity. I wasn't going to fight for him anymore. I was going to fight for myself. The next day, while he left for work, I began my own plan. I went through every file in our shared cabinet, every bank account, every property paper. And what I found chilled me more than the cheating. He had been transferring money slowly, secretly into another account under her name. Thousands of dollars gone, little by little. building a future that excluded me. That was when something inside me snapped. That night, I didn't confront him. I cooked dinner like nothing had changed. I smiled. I laughed. I even kissed his cheek goodnight. He had no idea that while he slept, I copied every document, every transfer slip, every picture from his phone onto a drive I hid under my mattress. The betrayal wasn't just personal anymore. It was financial. It was calculated. And if he thought he could replace me so easily, he was about to learn just how dangerous silence can be. I woke up the next morning with one thought in my mind. If he wanted to start a new life without me, I would make sure he didn't get to enjoy it. Not with her. Not with anyone. First, I went to the bank. With the documents I had copied, I met with our financial advisor. I pretended to be the worried wife, explaining that I thought my husband was hiding money. The advisor confirmed everything. The transfers were real. The account was under her name. And then he said something that made my blood run cold. The woman wasn't using her real identity. The account was under a fake name. Why would she need that? That night, I watched him carefully. Every smile, every lie that rolled so easily off his tongue. And suddenly it hit me, what if he wasn't the mastermind behind all of this? What if she was? The next evening, I followed her instead of him. She left the apartment building alone, carrying a sleek black purse. I stayed far behind as she walked quickly to a cafe. And that's when the twist revealed itself. She wasn't just the other woman. She was meeting with another man. They hugged, they kissed, and then I saw it, the same necklace, glinting under the light, initials shining. It wasn't a gift from my husband at all. It was from him. In that moment, the puzzle pieces snapped together. My husband thought he was leaving me for her, but she was playing both of us. And suddenly, my revenge wasn't just about him anymore. It was about her, too. I didn't waste another day. If they wanted to play me, I was going to end their little game in one move. The next Friday, my husband told me he'd be working late. Perfect. I already knew where he was going. I drove to the apartment ahead of him, my heart pounding, but my plan sharp. I had already slipped a tiny recording device into his car earlier that week. Tonight, I would finally have proof of everything. I parked down the street and waited. Soon enough, I saw him pull up, flowers in his hand, that pathetic lovesick smile on his face. Minutes later, she arrived to different car, different coat, but the same necklace glittering around her neck. I gave them time, long enough for them to get comfortable inside. Then I walked straight to the door and rang the bell. She opened it. Her smile faltered when she saw me. Surprised, I asked calmly. Before she could speak, my husband appeared behind her, his face turning white. What are you? I stepped inside without asking. Save it. I know everything. The money transfers, the fake name, the nights you've been sneaking around here. He stuttered. It's not what it looks like. Really? I pulled out my phone and hit play. His own voice filled the room. I'll leave her soon. Just be patient. We'll start fresh together. Silence. His face crumbled. But then I turned to her. And you've been laughing at both of us. You think I don't know about the other man? The one who gave you that necklace? Her eyes widened. She tried to speak, but the panic in her face told me I'd struck the truth. I leaned closer, my voice low and steady. You both thought you could fool me. You both thought I'd stay quiet. But I don't lose. Not to liars. Not to cheats. I dropped the spare keys to our house on the table. You can keep him. He'll learn soon enough what kind of woman you really are. As for me, I'm done. And I promise you this is the last time either of you will ever get to play me. Then I walked out, leaving them both standing there, their lies exposed, their future crumbling. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. I knew staying silent would only let him win. So I made my move. First, I secured my finances. Every joint account we had, every card linked to him, I quietly separated it, leaving nothing in his reach. He would realize it later, panic creeping in. But by then, I would already be free. Next, I collected evidence. Every message, every photo, every proof of his double life. I organized it, backed it up, and kept it close. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. This was about survival, about showing him that I couldn't be toyed with. Then came the subtle sting. I sent an anonymous message to her, the woman with the necklace he had hidden from me. "Does he know you're playing both sides?" Her reply came swiftly. "Don't you dare tell him." Perfect. That little seed of doubt was all I needed. I wasn't just going to walk away. I was going to let him feel the weight of his choices. That evening, I left an unmarked envelope on his desk at home. Inside were printed screenshots, the evidence of everything he thought he had hidden. No words, no explanations, just the truth staring at him, cold and undeniable. By morning, the consequences unfolded. He was frantic, shouting, searching for answers, and I was miles away, sipping coffee quietly, knowing I had finally taken control of my life. This wasn't revenge for the sake of anger, it was reclaiming myself, my power, my peace. And for the first time in months, I smiled without guilt or fear. I had won not over him, but over the part of me that had let betrayal define my worth. That evening, I couldn't stop replaying everything in my mind: the suitcase, the kisses, the necklace. Each detail burned itself into my memory, a vivid reminder that nothing would ever be the same again. I needed a plan, but more than that, I needed control. He had spent so long controlling the narrative of our life together, and now it was my turn. I started small, observing him without being seen. I memorized his routine, when he left the house, what time he usually returned. I noted his favorite coffee shops, his dinner spots, even the route he took to this new apartment. Every little piece of information became a weapon in my mind, a way to reclaim my power. I also reached out to friends I had drifted away from. I didn't tell them exactly what had happened, not yet, but I made sure they knew. I was hurt, betrayed, and ready to move forward. Their voices, their support, reminded me that I wasn't alone. I didn't need to be defined by his choices anymore. Then came the moment I had been both dreading and anticipating: the confrontation. I invited him over under the pretense of talking, acting calm, almost indifferent. I let him walk in, expecting relief or confusion from him. But I stayed poised, letting him feel the weight of his own actions without a single word. "I know everything," I said finally, my voice steady but sharp. He froze. His eyes darted, searching mine, maybe hoping for a lie or a denial. But I held his gaze. He stammered, I can explain." I let him try, watching every flinch, every falter. But I wasn't there to forgive. I wasn't there to console. I was there to reclaim myself. I took the necklace, the one that had started this whole unraveling, and placed it in his hand. "This isn't hers," I said, letting the pause stretch painfully. "It's mine. And it reminds me of what you've lost. Not just me, but the trust you'll never get back." For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The air was thick, heavy with every unspoken emotion. Then I smiled, not sweetly, not tenderly, but in a way that made it clear I was unbreakable. "You've made your choices," I said. "Now watch me make mine." And just like that, I walked out of the apartment, leaving him standing there, stunned and powerless. I didn't look back. Every step away was a reclaiming of my dignity, my life, and my power. That night, alone in my apartment, I didn't feel sadness. I didn't feel anger anymore. I felt alive, untethered, and unstoppable. And deep down, I knew that whatever came next, I would face it on my own terms, stronger than ever.
Hey guys, if you really enjoy watching my videos and want me to post such type of content daily, then please like, subscribe, and share the channel. I love you so much. Please show love.